What's going on? A bit croaky. Maybe I'm thirsty. Hello, hey, hi, how's it going, guys? Welcome, come on in, get comfortable. To my returning subscribers, welcome back. Thank you so much for your support. I highly appreciate it. I know that we have some new faces, subscribers as well as first timers. Welcome, come on in, get comfortable. I hope you consider staying and subscribing. Guys, I know I'm late. I know that I'm late. I was supposed to have uploaded another video last week already, but it was so busy. So I'm hoping that you can look past that and forgive me. And I'm going to be consistent. Just please bear with me. So as you can tell by today's the title of today's video, we're giving some thought to food. Now we're going to give a little bit of attention, positive attention, to a negative situation that affects all of us on a daily basis. We all know how prevalent food wastage around the world is. So I put together a list to share a couple of tips on how we can avoid the habit. If we are in the habit of wasting food, how can we avoid that? Save more food as well as save more money. So the article behind the inspiration behind this video was an article that I came across on the net. And this article happened to state a number that was huge. So 1.4 billion tons of food gets wasted every year. I did not know that. Now, just to put you into perspective, this could feed 2 million people every day for a year. Cringeworthy. I know. So now, if you know me, you know that one of my biggest pet peeves among many is wasting food. And next to that is wasting money. So when I see food going to waste, I think numbers. I see numbers and I'm thinking, it's cash money she's throwing away. So I thought, you know what, why not contribute to to develop a positive outcome by helping not only myself, but to share tips with others, on how we can make positive changes in our daily. What's going on? A bit croaky. Maybe I'm thirsty. Let me get something to drink. Pause that. Okay, so I'm back. Was a bit croaky, had to wet the throat. Sorry about that. So, as I said earlier, I thought I'd put together a little list of easy tips on ways that we can tackle this at home, how we can save food and waste less. So without further ado, let's get into today's topic. And our first point that we have is shop smart. So my first tip is as basic as it sounds. Shop smart. And the first way, or the easiest way by doing that, is by creating a shopping list and actually sticking to it. This will help us to avoid impulse buying. And also, we're less likely to buy things that we know that we won't consume. Another way that it can help us, it'll help us by not buying things that we don't plan on using, and therefore things will go to waste. So as simple as it is, create a shopping list. It was the easiest one. Let's move on to the second tip. So the second tip is to embrace the flaws. Now I know that with regards to everything in life, appearance is everything, because we know that we live in a society that is aesthetically focused. And a lot of people apply this to the food, or to the fruit and vegetable in particular, that they buy. Nobody really wants to reach out to that lumpy, oddly shaped potato that you find on the shelf. They're much more likely to buy the perfectly rounded one beside it. But I can assure you that it tastes exactly the same once it's cooked. So as a double plus, I'm not sure of your area, but I know in our community we have, at our grocers, they have, they sell some of the imperfect looking produce at a discounted price, which works out to be a double plus because I'm all about saving. So I get to save, and then the grocer as well gets to save, because that way the food doesn't get discarded. So you might want to think twice the next time you go into the grocery and you see that ugly looking apple with a bruise on it, or you see the potato with the lump on it. Just consider what its future looks like if you don't buy it. It's going to be discarded. So that's the second tip I have, is to embrace the uglies. Let's move on to the third tip. So the third tip is to get organized with people. Now the rule of thumb here is first in, first out. So the next time you're unloading or restocking your pantry or your fridge, why not consider moving your old produce to the front and repacking the new ones at the back? That way, it's easy to grab, especially considering your fruit basket. What I do, for example, is I put my new apples at the bottom and then I put my old apples at the top. And so I know nothing will go to waste because we'll be eating the older ones first. Another tip I can offer here is to use airtight containers. Some things spoil a lot quicker and easier than others when they're exposed to the air. So what you can do is, like when you're restocking your refrigerator, make sure you store your freshly chopped vegetables, or if you don't have a crisper drawer, in an airtight container. That saves a great deal. Another tip is some people like to keep their dry goods in storage containers in the cupboards, like I do. Others opt for the original packaging, which is fine. If you want to be fancy, you can opt for the vacuum sealing it, and that way you remove the air, keep it crisp. Or you could just keep it in its original package, but just keep it closed. I know some people use elastic bands. I mean, whichever way works for you. Just keep it covered from the elements that will prevent it from going stale. And also insects, if that's a problem in your house. So the fourth tip is to know your labels. Now, another way of avoiding food waste is just to not let it go bad to begin with. Now, while I know that there are zero regulations that are applied to sell by or use by or best by dates, most dairy is good for days after its expiry date. I know that sometimes even eggs can last months on the shelf. I, for one, happen to have yogurt as we speak in my fridge that is past its expiry date and we're 2 days out and it's still good. So I think, well, our best way to judge is by making use of our senses. If it smells bad, or if it looks bad, or even if it tastes bad, chances are it probably is. Just know your labels. Just keep an eye out for that. Let's move on to our fifth. So the fifth tip is to start small. And this is with regards to your plate. Why not try serving smaller portions? For the primary reason of reducing food waste. Another bonus is not only will it help your health, but it also might just help the waistline. You know, I'm all about that double plus. So the next time you're serving food, why not serve a smaller portion? If you do feel that you're hungry after that, you could always go for seconds, but rather safe than sorry for later. So as short as this tip is, it definitely is useful. Let's go on to our sixth. So tip number 6 is to use all parts. And now most of us mindlessly trash food scraps, so they're actually edible. Some of which are actually tastier than the vegetable itself, I kid you not. Broccoli stalks, for example, is something that I used to trash all the time until I discovered how flavor-packed they are. And in my opinion, they're arguably the more delicious part of the vegetable itself. Another vegetable that I also use, or off-cut rather, that I use are kale or spinach stems. I use them, it's great in stir fries. Beet tops, I say. Carrot tops are edible, delicious. As well as cilantro. I use the leaves and stems in my cilantro, so that's just a couple of tips that I can throw in there. If you have a few others that I haven't mentioned, please feel free to put them in the comments down below. I look forward to knowing or to reading on new ideas and new ways that I can add some more flavor to my food. So share that. So my 7th tip, as I mentioned, is our last tip, but most certainly not least, is sharing is caring. Now, it's a sad reality, but there are many people in our communities who face food insecurities every day. So if you prepared too much food, or you went a little bit overboard with your groceries, and you know it will go to waste if you don't eat it, why not share it? Share it with family, or share it with with friends if you have friends that live close by. Another great idea is to donate to a local food pantry. If you have shelters in your area, there are schools that you could donate to. Alternatively, if you have animals who can be fed, go crazy. If you're living the farm life, there you have it. If you have pets, you could use it to feed them. We personally don't have any animals or any pets, but we do have our neighborhood watch, whom we call our local furry gang, and it's just a group of stray dogs, which is not a scarcity in this country. And what we do is we usually store up our weekly scraps and we keep them in the fridge until the day that we do our rounds. And then we distribute it because we know that they always welcome a free meal. As a last resort, you could always compost. I know it's unglamorous because my mom has a compost heap and it's not very attractive, but it is an essential element to reducing food waste. So I thought these tips I'm hoping would be useful. But if we apply daily and we are intentional about making a difference, I know that we can benefit from this. People everywhere are becoming more and more aware of the issue of food waste. And you know what, these little changes, no matter how significant they may appear, does make a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. And not only will it stop us from or help us to avoid wasting food, but it will also help us, again, the double plus, to save money. So if you have other methods that you use to tackle the issue of food waste, please share them in the comments down below. I'm always open to new ideas, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So that's it, guys. These are my tips that I thought I'd share with you. I hope that you find them useful, and I hope that this will inspire you to share tips if you have any with us, so that we can also not only share them with other people, but help to apply them and be more active in applying them in our daily lives. Because, as I said, charity begins at home. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I did when I was researching, when I was actually reading the research info on this. You know what, there are so many websites that offer tips on how we can make these changes. Some that are a little bit more in-depth, the tips that I offered. And you know what, as I said, I'm always open, and I'm prepared to add more to my list, because at the end of the day, we want to be mindful, we want to be intentional about not only our lives, but how we can impact other people's lives in a positive way. So in saying that, I'm going to close today's video. Thank you so much for returning to my returning subscribers. As I mentioned earlier, to the new faces, welcome again. Please, if you like this video, please like the video. If you feel that it should be beneficial and useful to somebody else, please consider sharing, because sharing is caring again. So until I see you the next time, guys, be mindful, be content, and be blissful. I'll see you again soon. Ciao.